Before we begin, if you enjoy stories where humanity surprises the galaxy, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, because out there in the stars, humans are often underestimated, until they prove everyone wrong. Now let's begin. The arena gravity increased, again and again. Alien warriors collapsed to their knees, armor grinding against the stone floor. Breathing loud. Painful. But the human in the center of the arena just stretched his neck and asked one question: is this the warm-up? Silence fell across the entire station. And somewhere in the control room, a scientist whispered, "Something is wrong with that species." The Galactic War Academy orbited a dead blue star, a place built for one purpose: to find the strongest warriors in the galaxy. Hundreds of species sent recruits, some tall, some armored, some with claws sharp enough to cut steel. Every species believed they were the strongest. Every species believed they would dominate the arena. Until the humans arrived. Commander Vral studied the newest recruit list. A tall reptilian officer leaned beside him. Instructor Keth clicked his mandibles. "What is that one?" Vral zoomed in on the file. A simple image appeared. A human male. No claws, no scales, no armor plates, just soft skin. Keth snorted. "It looks unfinished." Vral nodded slowly. "Species human." Keth tilted his head. "Threat classification?" Vral read the line again, then smirked. "Low threat." The room chuckled. One officer laughed openly. "Low threat species in the War Academy?" Vral shrugged. Apparently their planet submitted them voluntarily. Keth leaned closer to the screen. "Planet gravity?" Vral glanced at the number, then frowned slightly. "1 standard G." Keth waved a claw dismissively. "Average." Vral closed the file. "Doesn't matter." He stood. "Let's see how long the human lasts." Training Arena 3. The recruits stood in formation. 20 species. Warriors from across the galaxy. Tall insectoids. Massive stone-skinned brutes. 4 armed combat specialists. And 1 human. The human stood quietly, hands behind his back, watching everything. Instructor Keth paced in front of them, mandibles clicking loudly. "Welcome to the War Academy." He pointed toward the floor. "This arena adjusts gravity." Several recruits stiffened. Keth smiled cruelly. "You will run 10 laps. A large reptilian recruit raised a claw. "Under what gravity?" Keth grinned. 2G. Groans spread through the group. One recruit whispered through, "That's brutal." Keth slammed his tail against the ground. "Run." The gravity increased instantly. Several recruits stumbled. A heavy insectoid collapsed immediately. The run began. Bodies struggled forward. Every step felt like dragging stone. Armor weighed twice as much. Breathing became painful. Keth watched calmly. Pathetic. Then he noticed something strange. The human was jogging. If you're enjoying the story so far, drop a like on the video. It helps the story reach more people who love humanity-first sci-fi stories. Not struggling, not slowing, just jogging. Keth frowned. He pressed a control. Gravity increased. 3G. Half the recruits fell instantly. 2 crawled. 1 vomited. The human kept running. Vral leaned toward the screen. "Is that normal?" A scientist shook his head. "No." Keth narrowed his eyes. The human finished the 10th lap, then walked calmly back to the line. Breathing steady. Keth stepped closer. "You appear comfortable." The human shrugged. "A little heavy." The recruits stared at him. One alien wheezed. "Heavy?" Keth's mandibles twitched. "Increase gravity." 4G. Now even standing was difficult. Several recruits collapsed. The human rolled his shoulders. "Okay." Keth stepped closer. "Okay." The human nodded. "Feels like leg day." Keth blinked. "What is leg day?" The human smiled slightly. "You don't want to know." Later that day, the Academy scientists gathered in the observation lab. Dozens of screens displayed data. Heart rates, muscle output, bone stress. Dr. Thale pointed to one screen. "Look at this." Vral leaned closer. "That's the human?" Dale nodded. "Yes." Vral frowned. "The strain levels are low." Another scientist spoke. almost baseline. Vral crossed his arms. Impossible. Dale tapped another screen. This is the interesting part. A planetary data file appeared. Earth. Atmospheric composition, biology, and gravity. One scientist whispered, "Wait." He zoomed the number. Earth gravity, 1G. Vral frowned. That's normal. The scientist shook his head. No. He pulled up the Academy gravity scale. Our normal training gravity is 0.6G. Silence filled the room. Vral stared at the screen, then slowly spoke. You are saying, Tail nodded, humans evolved in a gravity world nearly twice our standard. Vral looked back toward the arena feed. The human was stretching. Calm. Relaxed. Vral whispered. Increase tomorrow's gravity test. Dale asked quietly. To what level? Vral smiled. 6G. The next morning, the recruits gathered again. Most were sore, bruised, barely able to stand. The human looked refreshed. One recruit stared at him. Do humans not feel pain? The human chuckled. Oh, we feel it. Then why are you smiling? The human stretched his arms. Because this is fun. Instructor Keth stepped forward. Today's test. He pressed a control. The arena walls shifted. Massive steel obstacles rose from the floor. Climbing towers. Weighted barriers. Deep pits. Keth spoke loudly. Obstacle course. He paused. 6G gravity. Several recruits panicked. 6. That's impossible. Keth slammed his tail. Begin. Gravity slammed down. Most recruits dropped immediately. One crawled forward. Another fainted. The human cracked his neck, then ran. Actually ran. He leaped over the first barrier, climbed the tower, dropped down the other side. The observation room erupted. Vral stood. Is he sprinting? Dr. Thale stared in disbelief. Yes. The human jumped across a pit. Landed perfectly. Keth whispered to himself. That should break bones. The human finished the entire course. 2 minutes later, he looked back at the fallen recruits. Anyone else coming? One alien groaned. Monster. Later that week, the Academy decided to test something new. Combat. The arena filled with recruits. Crowds gathered in the observation decks. Vral sat at the central console. Ring in the Gladiator. Heavy doors opened. A towering alien entered. 4 arms. Massive armored body. Species known across the galaxy for combat dominance. The recruits whispered nervously. That's a Kravok. They're war-bred. The Kravok slammed its fists together. The ground shook. Keth pointed to the center. Human. The human walked forward calmly. One recruit shouted, You're dead! The human looked back. Nah. The Kravok roared. Small creature. The human tilted his head. Big target. The arena sealed. Gravity increased. 5G. The Kravok adjusted its stance. The human rolled his shoulders. Keth raised a claw. Begin. The Kravok charged. Fast. Shockingly fast. The human stepped sideways. The massive fist smashed the ground. The human spoke calmly. You telegraph your punches. The Kravok roared again. 2 arms swung. The human ducked, then kicked. The sound echoed. A crack of bone. The Kravok stumbled. The Kravok stumbled. The crowd gasped. Vral leaned forward. Did the human just break its leg? Dale nodded slowly. Yes. The Kravok roared in pain. The human stepped back. Fight over? The Kravok tried to stand, then collapsed. The arena fell silent. Keth whispered, Impossible. The human rubbed his neck. Can we turn the gravity up? The scientists were now panicking. Charts covered the walls. Muscle density, bone structure, oxygen efficiency. Dr. Tail explained. Humans evolved as persistence hunters. Vral frowned. What does that mean? They chase prey for hours, without stopping. Another scientist added. They evolved endurance beyond most species. Dale pointed to a bone scan. Human bones are extremely dense, and their muscles are designed for long-term output. Vral crossed his arms. So they are durable. Dale shook his head. No. He looked at the arena footage again. They are terrifying. Weeks passed. The recruits began respecting the human. One evening in the cafeteria, a tall insectoid sat across from him. Human. The human looked up. Yeah? Why are you here? The human shrugged. Training. The insectoid tilted its head. You could defeat most instructors. The human laughed. Nah. Why laugh? Because my species hasn't even sent soldiers. The insectoid froze. What? The human took another bite of food. I'm just a mechanic. The tray dropped from the insectoid's hands. Back in the command center, Vral watched the cafeteria recording. He turned slowly toward the scientists. Did he say mechanic? Dale nodded. Yes. Vral sat down slowly. What would their soldiers look like? No one answered. Months later, graduation day arrived. Recruits gathered in the arena. Commander Vral addressed the crowd. Today we recognize the strongest warrior of this cycle. Everyone already knew. Vral looked at the human. You have redefined our understanding of combat. The human scratched his head. Thanks, Vral continued. The Galactic Council has revised humanity's threat classification. The screen behind him changed. Load threat became extrait species. The recruits murmured. Vral spoke again. We once believed humans were weak. He paused, then nodded respectfully. We were wrong. The human smiled slightly. Yeah. Vral finished with one final statement. If a human ever walks into a battlefield, he looked across the academy. Pray they came as a mechanic, because if that was just a mechanic, no one in the galaxy wanted to meet a human soldier. And that's the story of how one human changed what the galaxy believed was possible. If this story moved you, leave a like on the video and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. And if you enjoy stories where humanity refuses to give up, subscribe for more HFY Sci-Fi stories. Because out there in the stars, humans are just getting started.